Good morning.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, moving on up to the east side. Hey, we got quite a few people watching already. Be sure to pop in the comments. Let us know you're there so that we can
There's great comments
throw you
already
up.
coming down the feed. I love
throw you
it.
up on there already. Yeah, we got Brian K. Morris in the house.
I
Got a lot
love
of
bacon ears. We need to shamelessly steal that.
Yeah,
I
bacon ears,
love bacon ears.
Well, you know, like I said, that's it's kind of my culture. You know, as a you know, my ancestors, they saw what they want, they took them. They took it. Yeah. So, yep. I am.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Bacon ears. That's ours now. We like it.
Yep. We're
We got a
doing.
Facebook user out there. Make sure to allow StreamYard the ability to access your, to be able to put your name up there. Are you copying Dan Fraga? I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know if I'm copying Dan Fraga, and I'll tell you why I don't know. Because I'm usually not up this early to watch any show. So if Dan Fraga has a show that starts with bacon, then yes, I am. But normally when I catch Fraga, it's in the evening, and he's probably already started, so I'm not sure.
And I just found another name to look up because I have no idea who Dan Fraga is.
Oh, Dan Fraga is amazing artist. Great.
Oh, I love it.
And then we got Sugar Chris. Hail everyone. Sugar Chris, great to have you in the chats this morning. We got John Westoff throwing up the rock fists. I'd give both of them, but one of them doesn't work right now. Rock fist. And then we've got we got Hojo in the chats. Morning, gents. Hat tip to Nick Luke. I'm not wearing my my pork pie today, Nick, and that's because I'm sitting in a hotel in Orlando, Florida. We snuck away for a couple days to hang out here with the family, and today is the day that I'm going back home. So we'll go back up to Jacksonville. See, here's the thing. When you live in Florida, where people go to vacation, you just drive a couple hours to a new town and hang out in a hotel, so it feels like you're vacationing.
37 degrees and barren fields. Oh, there's Robin, though. Hot dog. Anyway, just as I was despairing of Robin, there's hope in Indiana, folks. Not much.
There's always hope. There's always hope, man.
That if this show does nothing, it provides hope in the morning.
Hamalana. What a story, Mark.
Someday I will stop laughing at the hobble.
Yeah.
Someday, but
good morning, Hojo. It is great to see you today. We've got Brandon Larson also in there. Long time no talk. Glad you're doing better. Thank you very much. I am happy to be doing better. It's great to be able to, kind of get away from the house for a little bit. I'm looking and feeling a lot more normal now. I still have a little trouble getting around, but, not to say I didn't have any trouble getting around before.
Hey. See, we get to see. I was telling Luke, we see him, on the show. We get this shot once a week of Luke, bam, bam, bam,
yeah,
as a checkup, and it's just like a stop motion of you looking better every week. I'm serious. You popped on to talk. I'm like, dang, he got some sun. He looks good.
Yeah.
What happened? And now I understand.
I still have. I've gotten grayer, a lot more gray in my beard, but that happens. I was thought about dyeing it, but I don't think I'm gonna do it, Nick.
No, see, I believe gray is earned.
Yeah, I've earned these.
I mean, that's my attitude on gray, and that applies to women too. I mean, beards, I'm not judging, but gray hair, yeah, leave it. I think it's wonderful.
Brian says, glad you can use it, guys. I donate it freely once my legal team finishes the destruction of your souls.
They can try.
So we've heard it from the master himself. The bacon ears is ours. So welcome, bacon ears. It's great to have you this morning. Sugar Chris says, glad to see you still have your fancy voice. I do still have my fancy voice. My voice is getting better, but here's a funny thing. It always sounds like I just woke up, or I'm slightly winded, which is pretty funny.
No, I like the gravel. It's good.
My sister says hello. My sister's in the chat today. She loves Indiana.
I love Indiana too. I really do. Yeah. There are aspects. I'm just now more central than I was, so adapting happens.
And I'll tell you, if Brian K. Morris doesn't get the kind of the heart of this show. The only Robin we'd see right now in Indiana would probably be following Batman. Which, kind of brings me up, kind of as a bit of a
Yes.
topic that I
Yes.
wanted to talk about today, Nick.
I am
is
excited about this stuff.
Why is it that all of the best movies are based off of comic books? So here's what made me think about this. It was our first night here in Orlando, and I had the TV turned on to BBC America, and
Ruby.
yeah, and Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone comes on.
Fun movie.
Really fun movie. Sadly, I don't think I've ever really made it to the end of that movie because it always comes on real late at night, and then
I understand.
and then. But I'm thinking, I was like, man, this is a good movie. This is well done. I started thinking about that, and then Blade was such a good movie. And I started thinking about all these other movies and TV shows and stuff that are based off of that are really popular and do really well, but they're all based off of comic books. Like Invincible did really well, based off of a comic book. Let me see what else.
The MCU. I mean, you
The
got the
entire-
MCU,
yeah, the
you got
entirety
the
of the MCU.
you have the lesser DCU, but
Yeah.
DC offsets it by their amazing animated programs.
Oh
I-
yeah, their
I'm-
animated shows are
I
just
I
top notch.
just watched Gotham by Gaslight about a week ago
Yeah.
for the first time, and that was incredible.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, there's so many good things out there. I just like really, really cool shows.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them come from comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them come from comic books. I don't want to say all because that's
No,
kind of
but-
that's a strong definitive word that I think it's complicated to back up. But I'm going to say most of the really good shows out there are based on a comic book.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a medium that years ago was kind of looked at as like it's not like a real medium.
Yeah, they
It's like it's
treat
not
it
real
as
literature.
inferior. Yeah.
We got a few more comments here.
Okay.
Let's go through those real quick and we'll get back to this. The best movies are based off of comic books because Hollywood is out of ideas. So they have to rob the comic creators. And I think you're right, yeah. And Hojo's like, I am the law. Yes. I'll tell you what, Sylvester Stallone is a decent actor. I'm going to say decent. I'm not going to say great. Decent.
He's a fun actor.
He's a fun
you know,
actor.
And you know what you're getting. I don't mind typecast guys because I don't go for a deep, emotional, serious experience very often.
That's not
Life
how
is deep emotional.
I don't want my action heroes crying on me. And I don't think I ever have to worry about him doing that. I cry enough. I don't need an action hero to do that for me. Pardon me, I'm just laughing at myself. But no, I felt like he embodied that role really well.
Well,
Like he really fit he was Judge Dredd.
the neat thing about typecasting, I hate to say it, is the reason people get typecast is it works. You know,
Does, yeah.
Now, you really either have people who are like Gary Oldman, who could be literally anything.
Anything.
At this point, either of us could pull a Mission Impossible, pull off the
I'm
mask,
Gary Oldman.
and
Yeah.
we both could be Gary Oldman. You know, I
And
mean,
here's
I'm
the thing: we might be Gary
Yeah.
Oldman. That's
We'll
up to the
never know.
chat to decide.
are we or are we not Gary Oldman?
Yeah.
Hey,
Silvar's
Ogre!
is in the chats. Good morning, hybrids. Yes. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Great guy, Ogre. I know him from when I did Dice Dudes and Dames. I love that show. I miss it, but gotta do something else with gaming.
Yeah.
Rocketeer.
The
yes.
Rocketeer was one of the finest films ever made, in my opinion. I rewatched often. Yes, it was. The Rocketeer was a comic book and a great movie, and a fun thing to draw. I love drawing the Rocketeer. He's fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sugar Chris says, I rarely watch comic movies because I always want them to be just like the book and end up flustered. That I think that is a problem. But so my wife used to say this thing all the time. We'd watch a movie based off of a book. She goes, "Oh, the book is better." And I used to be like, "No, it's not. It's not better." For instance, one of my favorite movies that's based on a book that she's familiar with is The Notebook. Okay? That movie, I know it's like a romantic movie and it's but it's one we can watch together and I enjoy. Any of you other fellows out there that like The Notebook, you just go ahead and let me know. We'll make sure that, back me up on that one. But I love The Notebook. But I love the way the movie ends. I found out that the book does not end that way. That the Noah character stays alive. And then there's this whole other book where he's talking to some, like one of these geese, like it's his alley, right? And I'm like, I don't like that. Because in my head, I'm like, I like the idea that these two had such a strong love that they exited the world together and went into the afterlife together. There's not really kind of the same thing, but there's a song by this band called The Dead South.
Yes,
Called,
I
In
love
Hell,
that.
I'll Be in Good Company.
Be good company. Oh,
The song is about his wife cheating on him, and so he kills her, but he's looking forward to being hung for the murder because then he'll be able to spend eternity in hell with her.
now you got that whistle stuck in my head.
Yeah.
You know the part I'm talking about. Oh, that's one of my must-play songs. I'll just stop everything
Every
I'm
day,
doing,
yeah.
blare that.
I give that song a listen every day. But no,
It's
so
good.
Sugar Chris, Chris, I understand completely what you're talking about with the idea that you get flustered. Because I'll watch them, I'm like, well, that's not like the comic. Or that's not like the comic. That character would never do that. There's a new character. Oh my gosh, I just saw this last night. A redheaded character that's been race swapped again. I'm convinced Hollywood hates gingers. If you are a ginger in a comic book, when it's adapted to TV or film, you are going to get plucked out and it's going to be a black character put in. They hate gingers. They hate them. Absolutely hate them. Which is what I worry about Trash Man for.
Okay, I don't think you ever have to worry about Trash Man. Not that it won't be made a movie, because it will. Probably after it's an award-winning animated series. I just see this.
But he's a ginger.
Yeah, I
Hollywood
don't.
hates gingers. Yeah.
That's true, but one, it's usually ginger women, and two, you're not the type of guy. Well, here's more money. We're going to do this.
Yeah,
no.
We got to
But
stay true to it.
I think there are two factors here that are kind of butting heads. One is adaptation, and one is format. If you watch, because a lot of people are upset, the movie, they're going to adapt the movie. They're going to make changes to the story. A lot of times it's deliberate so that people don't necessarily know the end. I don't always like that. They've done that from manga to anime. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse, but they have to make some personal changes, and I accept that. We live in a world. One thing Marvel did really well was the What If series, at least back in the day.
Oh yeah,
because so I just treat all the movies that are off a canon that I like, or the series that's off a canon that I like, as a What If. I was a huge Green Arrow fan way back in the day. First superhero comic I ever read was Green Arrow. It was discounted because it was an old one, but it was the one where he was learning how to shoot a compound bow. Yes, I'm that old into it.
You're that old. You're that.
But I watched the first 3 seasons of Green Arrow, the CW show, and I loved the first 3 seasons. And at the end of it, they had Ollie with this girl Felicity, and they drove off into the sunset at the end of the series. At the end of season 3, he had come to peace. He had done everything he needed to do, and they were going to another city to make a new life. And I went, I am done with this series.
Yeah.
And my wife went, what? I like this ending. Whatever they do, I'm not gonna. I literally stopped watching the series. I'm like, beginning, middle, end, happy ending, done. I'm out.
Yes, whatever they do from here on doesn't matter.
Right.
Hey, we got Danny in the chat saying hi, fellas.
Oh, hey,
Good to see
Danny.
you. Sugar Chris says sometimes I end up enjoying them in spite of that, though.
Yeah.
Judge Dredd with Sly was fun to me, and I didn't take it too seriously, surprisingly.
Well, yeah.
I was the same way with that, too. Having read the comics, I just took it at face value. I thought Rob Schneider was pretty entertaining in it, for him to be in anything. I don't know why I like that guy as a character actor. He just cracks me up.
Well, because he's funny. I mean,
He is, yeah.
you accept some people are just naturally funny in a very specific role.
Yeah.
And
so,
I am ashamed. It's AD, what, 2,000, 3,000? I can't remember the company that puts out Judge Dredd. But I always end up, because they put out, for Free Comic Book Day, these huge, thick books.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're always fun. I mean, they're bonkers, but they're fun.
Comic books should be bonkers and should be fun. I think a big problem with comic books these days is people take it way too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I was reading comic books, they were
2080. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, they were a little silly. They were a little silly back in the day. Comic books are our storyboards.
Yes, that was the second part.
Yeah.
They love comic books because it's pre-storyboarded. They don't have to figure it out. All they have to do is take a big print up and go, I don't like that. And the best movies have where you can go, there's the frame. It's like, how many times have we seen Spider-Man walking away from the garbage can?
Oh, loved it.
It's like it hits every time.
It's like I think as long as you hit those iconic scenes, when you're telling an iconic part of the story,
right?
It does my soul well to see that. It really does. Nick, did you watch the Long Halloween animated?
Not yet, because we are very old-fashioned. We have one big TV, so I only watch things that aren't necessarily Xander. That's my son. He's turning 13 very soon, but he's autistic. So because of that and some other disabilities, he's a little lower, so we have to be careful on what we watch.
Yeah.
So I only get to watch that sort of thing when I get up early in the morning before I put us all down to bed.
Yeah.
So it's like I have this list of things I watch. I can't watch this till Xander's to go to sleep. And that's literally that's next on my list after the rest of the Justice League Dark Apocalypse. I haven't seen that one yet.
I will say this, though, watch it and don't be afraid. They do a pretty good job with the animated stuff. I watched Flashpoint, and it was, granted, Flashpoint, there was a ton of comics for Flashpoint.
Yeah.
But they did it fairly well without changing too many big things. They stayed pretty true to what I remember reading. So,
well, they've done right with Constantine in the animated stuff.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Now, Constantine is a great character.
I will put out a sort of spicy take I get flack for. I enjoyed the heck out of the Keanu Steen movie. And I still enjoy it. It had, it was the Constantine movie that had Keanu Reeves in it. It was a lot of fun for me because at the time it was a very different kind of character. And it was an interesting storyline.
Well, did you know that Keanu, whenever he's asked if there was one movie that he would like to go make a sequel to, he always says Constantine.
Yes.
Comics are awesome.
Yes. I'm sorry. I
honestly believe he feels that way. He's not just saying it to sell a book.
No, Keanu's probably the most sincere person in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the guys go out and their whole career is making firearms movies.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they're done making $20 million for their movie, they go and say, well, I'm anti-gun.
Oh, you said it. Thank you for saying it.
Now my man Keanu is anti not being trained at it. Respect he treats it just like the martial arts. Learn it, respect it. He still does 3-gun shows.
I am pro-gun, but I'm also pro being trained. I don't like the idea of people getting their hands on a gun without some training.
Right.
We don't let people get their hands on a car without being trained, right?
Well,
we shouldn't let people get their hands on
education.
And here's
the
the thing.
idea of gun safety should start, even if it's not proficiency, just basic gun safety should start as early as a child can understand this is a gun. Right now, don't touch it. Get a parent.
Here's the thing.
And then you build up to the 4 rules, and you just build on that. I'm very pro-education,
Yeah.
and I'm a constitutional absolutist.
Well,
I love the Constitution of the United States of America.
Amen.
I have,
Preach,
you know,
man.
I get
This
flack
man a
because
pulpit. Let's take it off.
I will, because I have this thing about, you know, people want to discuss gun laws and stuff, and I will say I am not the most versed person on that. I like the Constitution. That's what I'll say about it. But all, you know, the various knife restrictions, I will get up and say no, because you cannot say that our forefathers did not have knives and swords and things and basic
Here's the thing.
tools.
I don't look at a knife as a weapon.
No, it's a tool.
Unless it's made to be a weapon. Swords are a weapon, but a knife is a tool.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, so, yeah.
But even if it's a weapon, I hate to say it, that is definitely included in what was considered military arms of the period, so it should be protected under the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
No argument.
30 to 50 years ago, between that 20-year period, people that had guns were around guns from a young age and were being shown and trained how to properly handle those weapons. You know?
Yes. And that's you have to do education, and you have to respect things. Part of the problem is the rural mentality of what a firearm is, what it's for, and what it represents, versus the urban mentality of what a firearm for, what it is, and what it represents, is depicted differently. I don't agree with it, but I can see, I have the ability, even when I disagree with somebody, to see both sides of the points usually. It's very rare that I'm...
Oh, are you saying you're a reasonable human being? Is that why you're...
That's why everybody ends up hating me. Because at some point they'll be like, wait, you know, you support this action that the Democrats did, but you support this action that the Republicans did. And I'm like, or oppose each way. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go issue by issue. I don't need to be a member of a club to say this is right. Sorry,
absolutely.
I'm passionate on these subjects.
Very passionate on these subjects. Brian K. Morris, good seeing you, says Ogre.
And I just realized I have my notes for my videos still up, where I just have a list of weaponry behind me.
There you go, man. I'll tell you. Yeah.
Sorry. Oh yeah.
Stallone was great as Dredd, although he shouldn't have removed his helmet. Carl Urban, on the other hand, was perfect in the role. Yes, Carl Urban was great in the role.
I think if we give Carl Urban a few more years, like in the next 10 to 20, he might be Gary Oldman grade of range.
He might be.
I mean, if you start thinking about what he's been.
I do admit I did not like the fact that Stallone's taking the helmet off, like, right away. I didn't like that.
Yeah, that was...
But I get it. You pay that much for him, you're going to show his face. Because back then, people were going to see Stallone movies. They weren't going to see a comic book movie.
Right.
You know?
And let's be honest, the actor is notorious for having something of an ego, to be generous.
Well, it's just like in the latest Spider-Man movie. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. I mean, at this point, deal with it. All 3 Spider-Men had their mask off.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Showing off their faces. You know, think about it. Iron Man, how often did Iron Man not have his mask on?
Which is kind of silly. I mean, as much as I love Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man as a character, yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, these characters, you know, I mean, heck, in the X-Men cartoon series, you've got Wolverine in full costume laying in his bed, pining over Jean Grey. In full costume.
In full costume.
Mind you, wearing his mask.
Yeah.
In my head, in all those old comic books, Chris Claremont rarely ever had them out of their costumes. There was one time when they were out of costume, and it just rocked my world. Okay,
yeah.
And that was when when Psylocke was with the team, and she had gotten out of the shower, and she's in a towel with all that steam around her, and I was like, oh, holy hell.
It's funny how everyone
They can't do that.
Every man who of that level of interest, you know, that variety of interest, and I'm sure many women, of that period all know exactly the frame you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
I was as a teenage boy, I was like, what?
I'm
What?
pretty sure that heavily influenced my man J. Scott Campbell, who is my second favorite comic book creator on this planet. Next,
Yeah,
to
I think so. Yeah, but yeah, that
You know.
particular panel, I was just, you know,
yeah,
I can't remember the rest of the book now. You know, it's like I was like, I can't believe. First
Well,
off, I couldn't believe they did it.
yeah,
You know, and then as a what 14, 15-year-old boy, I was so thankful that they did.
Hey man, whatever makes you praise, man.
You know, I think you guys can agree with me. That was,
No,
but yeah,
there's.
but other than that, these cats were always in costume.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
always.
And I wanted them in their costumes. I loved their costumes. That was what was so cool about it. But, you know, with actors and stuff, you know, they pull them out of costume all the time.
Well, with the X-Men, they also are probably the least. They're like the secret identity thing
Yeah.
is they're the second least. The most least I'd say is Fantastic Four. I can't figure why they bother having superhero names. That one always bothered me.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows who they are, and they live in a big building with the 4 on top, so you can find it real easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Sue Storm's cousin, Jenny or whatever. Somebody could go, oh, that's Sue Storm's cousin. Yoink. I mean, there's no secret there.
But it was fine. We loved it.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
Again, that's some of that goofiness and that, you know, we're now, like, we overthink that stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes, like, you know, I had somebody ask it was a weird question. Somebody asked a question about hybrids. I can't really remember what the question was. But I just remember thinking, I'm like, you're overthinking it, man. It's a comic book. like, we're not going to answer that kind of question.
Leave
Because I'm not trying to
overthinking
explain the
hybrids to
physics
me.
of the
That's
world.
my job.
I'm like, this is fantasy, man. There's people have superpowers. I mean, come on. That doesn't happen in real life. What are you talking about? Why are you trying to compare this to real life? This is fantasy. Let's just enjoy it, man. Sugar Chris says,
Escapism.
I've learned that in most entertainment aspects, indie seems to be where all the passion and interesting stuff is at. And I agree, man. And people are grabbing indie properties, and they are turning indie properties into TV shows and movies. And that's why.
Invincible.
And that's why, you know, Invincible. And that's why, you know, I'll be honest with you. You know, shameless plug. That's why these guys with the long shots, you know, that's why we thought that this whole Spencer's deal was going to be real. Because people were taking a shot on finding the next Ninja Turtles. You know, that next indie book that was big. And, you know, for a company to say, hey, we want these 9 books from these people that we've never heard of that have a reasonable following. What if we can get them in front of our crowd that doesn't read comic books? What if they fall in love with them? It's the next big thing. That made total sense to us, that people would like to take that gamble on some unknowns. Little did we know we were the ones that were being taken by the house, you know? But now, for you, $25 buy-in, you get all 9 books ready to ship.
And see, this for me is painful. It is painful because that is the best, like, just deal. Like, if you want comic books, just totally bypassing everything about it, all my attachments, the Nick that was raised to count your nickels and your pennies and dimes and the dollars they'll count themselves is going.
Really?
You can't find.
Each one of those books is 32 pages inside, plus a cover. So it's 32 interior pages. Each one of those books, man. I mean, we set it up right. They're printed great and everything. I mean, we did a good job with it, you know. And I've read all the books, and it is not a waste of money. I'll be honest with you, it is not a waste of money. Sugar Chris says, I've learned. Okay, we've already read that one. Yeah, that's what sent me into my little. Hi there, Silva. Great to see you too. We've got Johnny Cage, JP7 in the chat today. You got your D's in the wrong order again, Nick.
You know what? I
called Big
always
Bro.
do that. There's a secret fourth D for dyslexic, and I'm just going to keep representing.
Yeah. Silver also agrees that Urban Dread was better, but I got a soft spot for anything with Max von Sydow. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, I honestly, my comic book shop didn't have Dread at the time, and so when I saw that movie, it introduced me to that character. So I was like, I like this. So I went to the comic shop and said, hey, I heard this is based off a comic book. They said, yeah, and they got me. They started carrying it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, if you as a kid didn't pick up a stick at some point, look over show and go, double whammy. You know what I mean? And you just weren't of the era, you know?
I am the law. You know, I'm going to wind up clipping that for our show. I am the law. You know, that's a good clip.
That's a good clip.
Yeah.
I
haven't
like
got around to doing it yet, but you know, it's going to happen. Sure, Chris says, Spawn was another good one. Man, I loved all of those, especially the early Image days, like when Image first came out. I was like, man, this is going to change the world. It kind of did. Not the way I thought it was going to. You know, I thought it was going to take down the big two.
I'm waiting for like the Wildcats to come out as the next animated arc. I'm really looking to see more with the Image and more with Top Cow did a few and they fizzled, and it's kind of tragic because there was some amazing Witchblade material put out. The crossover anime thing, totally not appropriate for anyone, but was amazing. The TV series was okay, but I think it was just all a little ahead of its time and hinged on an actress who had an alcohol problem. It's just the history. But sorry.
Sure, Chris did say his girlfriend back in the day made him watch the Notebook multiple times, so it is a good movie. I mean, the pairing, the couple of what are the actor and actress's name on that?
I've never seen it, so I can't tell you that. When my wife picks a movie, it usually has John Wayne involved.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like they embody the characters so well. I just know them as Noah and Allie. That's just how it is for me.
No, that's a wonderful thing.
Dead South is a good band. I do like most. They've got this one song, Nick. It's so catchy. It's called Banjo Odyssey. It's so catchy.
Oh gosh, yes.
But man, when I listened to the lyrics, I was like, "What are they singing about?"
I know.
And then I realized they're singing about one of the lines in the song. Audience is this. They say, I guess she's my cousin, but she needs some sweet loving anyway.
Yes.
When I heard that, I was like, what did they say?
It's they do the mix of amazingly catchy tune and horrific lyrics. Like
they do. And
I mean,
but here's the other side to this coin is that they're from Canada and they're called the Dead South.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does some Canadians know about the South? And then they play that song and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, they get it. Yeah, they get it.
There's a part of me that wonders if they were if they were trying to be a parody and no one got the joke, so they just ran with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
And that's
I don't
not
know
a
a lot
shot.
of Canadians.
It happens sometimes.
I don't know a lot of Canadians, but I mean, the couple that I do, they understand humor, but
it's really funny because like when you get to the real high Northerners, if you haven't met them and hung out with them, a lot of my family's from North Dakota, South Dakota, and I have to be careful to say it, properly, not Dakota, because he talk about my family goes there. They sound like Mounties. We grew up watching Red Green, and
Red Green.
Red Green is what it's like. You get far enough north, and people get outdoorsy again. You get far enough south, people get kind of poor and outdoorsy. And when you have poor and outdoorsy, you get a creative mind. You get these people who come up with things that don't necessarily look good or work right, but they kind of do, and they're kind of cool. And
Where I come from, we call that redneck engineering.
Yes, sir.
And well, I come from where you come from, so
Yes,
you know
exactly.
what I'm
That's
talking about.
yeah. Where
I'm
it's
still
like
a Hoosier at heart. So we got Sugar Chris and Johnny Cage. We do, and then Johnny's saying it's weird he can't see Chris in the chat. Not sure why. We're seeing him fine. And then Hojo says Carrie Kelly. What's that response to? I can't remember. Oh well. And then we've got Jody McPhee from the desk of Small Press Publisher saying, "Morning all. Hope all is well. All is well. All is right with the world. We are having a little nerd bacon and enjoying ourselves
we're
this
having
morning."
fun. This is a good one. This is just a genuinely fun one.
Yeah, Wally West was a ginger and replaced by a dude of color. Yeah, he was, man. I'm telling you, they do not like gingers.
Well, see,
They do not
what
like
I
gingers.
think it's lazy writing. They don't want to come up with new characters. It's the same reason we always see Batman and his parents get shot in the alley, and Uncle Ben die for Spider-Man. We've all seen it all the times. It's just like it's not. I'd like to see more other characters than the big three and Spider-Man and company. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Silver says that he knows a Twitch streamer who got attacked on Twitter for calling out ginger erasure. Well, they can try to come after me, but here's the thing. Hollywood hates gingers, man. I mean, it's just... I mean, how often do you see a ginger in a movie, right? Maybe it's because there's no good ginger actors. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I don't know, maybe. But no, it's a thing
I
that
am
happens.
exceptionally pro ginger, especially pro ginger women. I come from a long, proud history of this. I know whereof I speak.
Trash Man's my favorite ginger. And my other I got 2 gingers in my book.
Yeah.
I got Ginger, Trash Man, and I got Ginger, Triple Play. Well, that's technically 3 characters. Triple Play's 3 characters.
So that's 4 gingers right there.
That's 4 gingers. Yeah.
You know what? You're gonna have to do it, Luke. Down the line, you're gonna have to add a redheaded woman whose superhero name is Ginger. I mean, literally just to mess.
Just to really, I mean, just
like,
apply that.
Just like sometimes you just have to, respond.
And then I'm going to do a what if. What if Triple Play was Danny Morales? I'm just... Dude, I bought that book and it's not bad.
Oh, no, you know what? I don't mind. See, that's passing the mantle on.
I love the what if stories, though.
Oh, yeah, I love what if stories, and I don't mind when a superhero's mantle passes and it makes sense. You
Hey.
can do that.
Yeah. But that what if, that was just like,
Yeah,
I like the what if, like even the what if series. Yeah. Oh, by the way, let's say hi to our Russian bot. We have a Russian bot in the...
Do svidanya! Anyway,
Way to go, buddy.
may sunflower seeds grow in your pocket. Anyway.
Yeah. And Brian K. Moore says, I agree. Silver, Max von Sydow. I never can say his last name the right way. I'm going to mess it up. Was amazing in everything he did. If he played Maria von Trapp, I'd probably like him better than Julia Andrews.
Brian?
Leave it to Brian K. Morris.
I love you, but that borders on blasphemy, my friend, because Julia Andrews, there are people you just put aside and thou shalt not mess with. Julia Andrews is kind of right. Just let her be her thing. But
South Park, yeah. So Hojo brings up, they didn't watch the South Park Ginger Kid episode. See what happens when they say no. Yeah, that's pretty funny stuff. I was hoping Ginger Erasure was an 80s band with hair dye.
Oh my!
That would have been great, wouldn't it?
That would be great flavor. Oh my gosh, it's great flavor. Just where are you going? Where you go see Ginger Erasure? Dun, 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 dun. Just like thrash.
Here's what I think we should do. I think we should lean into that fact, and maybe I'll do a one-off issue where all of my gingers are just they're people of color, and have all the other characters point out the fact that there's some kind of remember that episode of The Office when Jim's Asian friend pretended to be Jim while he was at the dentist and they were messing with Dwight, And Dwight's like, what? Yeah, I think that would just be, I think it'd be hilarious. I think that'd be funny.
I know.
I don't know how many other people would get the joke or would not try to cancel me. But you know what? After surviving this whole COVID thing, I kind of feel uncancelable, if that makes sense.
Well, COVID,
I'm like, go ahead and try to cancel me, like I care. That and then probably my Gen Xer, like, you know.
well, that's the problem with like the Gen X thing, because I'm right on the line, but I was raised by older parents, so I get real interesting on things. Have you seen that video where it says born in 1970 and the guy clips his shoulder on door frame and he keeps going?
Yeah.
And that says born in 1980, clips the door frame, turns and like mounts FU to the door frame.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's exactly like that. Between these two states is the natural place for your free range Nick. You know what I mean? If you haven't cursed out an inanimate object for having the audacity
To be in your way? Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
How dare you?
Yeah, I got things
I don't
to
have
do.
time for foolishness anymore. And so, yeah. But yeah, so I know they. So,
I'm sorry. I know it was in reference to the comment and it was funny, but you dropping the line, I don't have time for foolishness on the Nerd Bacon Breakfast Show.
right, yeah.
You know?
I see the irony.
It was delightful, and I don't know if there's enough time for you to get a clip of that, but you get a clip of yourself saying, I don't have time for this foolishness. It would be beautiful.
I could definitely do that. Johnny Cage says, I'm that old. Internet's favorite grandpa, 2022.
Hey,
Yep, I'm that old.
I shoot for Uncle Iroh status at any given point. I'll take it.
So says Brian, I just got the visual of Max von Sydow's Victor / Victoria.
Silver, that right there proves you're one of my people. That level of WTF just...
You know, that's one.
Yes.
That's one gender swap I would not be mad about. Let's go with it. Let's deal with that one.
Well, folks, I don't know if I...
Oh, Nick, did you freeze up or did I? I'm not sure. Here, let me go ahead at Brian K. Morris, 2000 AD. He's answering that question. And Nick, I lost Nick. That doesn't look like me. Guys, you can still hear me, right? So, Brian K. Morris says, LOL. I'd forgotten about that, Silver. Now I'll be thinking about that all day. We got Sugar Chris also saying, Rob Schneider is a really nice guy. He showed a lot of kindness to my father when he had cancer and we met him. See, that's awesome to hear stories about that. You know, you hear too many stories about celebrities that are not nice guys. And I'll tell you what, that image that we have, that Nick is stuck on, was pretty kind of funny. So we've lost Nick completely. I'm sure he'll be popping back here in the stream any minute, so we'll get him there. He does live out in the middle of nowhere, so his internet has some trouble sometimes. But man, it's so great to hear about celebrities that are actually nice people. It reminds me of Shaquille O'Neal, and how Shaquille O'Neal will just he'll go to Walmart and buy people a bike, buy a kid a bike, and he's got all this money, but he spends it on other people and stuff, and it's really cool that he does that. That's pretty awesome. So great to hear about Rob Schneider. Now I feel even better about liking him and the stuff that he does. And we've got Silver says, my favorite movie line was when Robert Preston dressed as Victoria and the other dancers don't catch him. He looks at them. Yes, that was pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Let's go ahead and get through some of these comments. We got a lot of comments. I'm really far behind, and I just had a comment dump, so we'll get caught up here. Dark Apocalypse was just depressing. Yes. And then Hojo says, yeah, I love DC animated stuff, and yes, Flashpoint worked. Gotham by Gaslight is next on my list. That's on my list too. Haven't quite gotten the chance to do that one, but definitely is next on my list. And then Brian K. Morris jumps in, LOL, and mine was Robert Preston explaining that a shister is a disreputable member of the legal community, then follows it with, I, Madame, am a quack. These are great movies, man. Great references. Keanu movie would be great if it wasn't called Constantine. I still watch it whenever I get a chance. I agree. It kind of was Constantine, but it kind of wasn't. And I don't think a lot of that was his fault. As an actor, I think a lot of it was kind of the direction and the studio's fault. Because that was early on in the comic book movie craze when they started taking comic books, adapting to film. They were doing this thing where they were trying to take the story and give it to an audience that wasn't necessarily comic book fans. And they would try to change it or adapt things a bit. And unfortunately, they didn't need changed or adapted in any way because what made them good and popular was what was there. It's kind of like I was so upset when the Star Wars franchise came out, and the lady in charge was like, "Look, we don't have source material." I'm like, "Yeah, you do. There's comic books ranging all the way back to the 70s, and there's all these other books, these novels that were adapted as extended universe for the Star Wars universe. Yeah, there's source material there, so you don't have to redo any of that. It's all good." And Nick is back.
I will not be silenced. Anyway, yeah. See, that's how fast cancellation happens, folks. Make one joke,
and they got the wrong guy. I mean,
well, yeah, you're the Teflon pastor, man.
Yeah,
things just slide right off. It's been proven.
I don't even care. Silver says, I remember the first time I ever saw Darkseid. He was sitting in Miracle Man's living room. Yep. Silver also says, the man is legend, Brian. Yep. Brian K. Morris, a knife is a tool. The man which is a meal. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Appreciate that. Grateful 100% Silver. Johnny Cage says, anything that falls in the hand can be a weapon. And that's a good thing.
Preach!
And that
Preach,
reminds
Brother
me,
Cage!
That reminds me so much.
I don't
Ron
know
Swanson.
anything about. I wasn't giving a lecture on that Friday at all about understanding the things people should learn how to make go, and then what things you like to make it go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
So it reminds me of Ron Swanson when he has a crossbow, not crossbow, like a regular bow, compound bow in the parks department there, and Ben Wyatt comes in, and he says, "You've got a weapon in the office," and he said, "That folder you're holding in my hands is more deadly than this crossbow in yours," or something like that. You know, he goes, "Yeah, you're probably right."
He is.
Yeah, I think he knows a thing or two about that.
God.
I know more than you.
All right.
Yeah, we love Ron.
Yes. I was hoping you're doing that.
Yeah.
No, Ron Swanson is a hero of masculinity. I mean, he's a parody, but he's a delightful parody.
He's a libertarian Hoosier. When I first saw that show, I was like, I had started watching it, and Beth and the kids hadn't started watching it yet. It's like, Beth, you gotta watch this. And I was like, who's Ron Swanson remind you of?
Oh God, he likes brunette and breakfast good. Brunettes and breakfast
yeah.
good.
Yep.
What?
Like,
No, I mean like Luke. Really?
yeah. So
Could you get more on the tea?
the only thing I eat at Cracker Barrel now is the Country Boy breakfast with the sirloin steak. Get the steak and eggs, man. That's my life these days. Hojo says, I knew I was going to love this show. I'm in lockstep with the Constitution. I defend it for 6 years. Preach, yes. You are in good company here. That's kind of what we are. We're just we love America and we love people. We love treating people right. We believe everything should be fair.
Yeah,
And,
it's not that complicated.
Frog G is in the chat. Thank you, Frog G, for joining us this morning.
Sons of
Just
God.
tickle the algorithm. Smash the like. Dingle the bells. And subscribe. Dingle those bells.
Dingle 'em. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-em. Silver
Scandinavian
bells.
common law. All people, even slaves, had the right to carry a knife for self-defense. Yeah.
Well, and yeah. See, it's funny because the world used to be historically people screw up, they do their time, and they'd be forgiven, and you have a life. Now it's set up where they can't even do that because I kind of believe in the possibility of redemption of people.
Yeah. So Johnny must have said something.
Yes. Oh.
And I must have missed it somewhere. But Hojo says, yes, Johnny. I don't keep guns in my house because they're necessary. My hunting stuff is at my dad's, but I have a knife in every drawer. Well, I will be honest with you. I have guns at my house because they are definitely necessary. Because somebody walks through my door uninvited, and Florida's a stand your ground state. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm standing my ground, and they're going to die where they stand. So that's just how that's going to
See, this is one thing people don't get. A right is a beautiful thing in that you don't have to exercise it. Okay? Because I support people's right to carry firearms. I don't carry a firearm because I have nerve damage in my hands. So that I don't trust, as a responsible, reasonable adult, my ability to keep a gun on target at a reasonable distance.
Yeah.
Now,
my wife and daughter are both trained with a 45.
Yeah, right.
So I can still shoot. Even though I can't use both hands, I can still shoot my small pistol. But they're both trained, and my son is 12 years old, and he's getting trained this year.
Yeah, and
on how to use a firearm.
And that's education. That makes sense.
And I will defend my family. I'm not I'm not so keen on myself, defending myself so much, but definitely my family. But if you feel like you can do that with a knife, Hojo, you go right ahead. Because I'll tell you what, the other thing that will freak anybody out if they break in your house in the middle of the night is a 6'4" guy in his whitey tighties coming at him with a scimitar.
Now, I mean, that being said, I don't have, because I've kind of been doing the sort of thing for 20 years. I'm not going to say that I'm never outside of reach of a knife or better at every moment of my day. I mean, that you have to make a trade-off there. But
he says hello.
Hey, Frog! Oh, Frog G, you are amazing. Look up Operation Wrench, folks. Frog G's comic is just, he's done so much.
Look at all the love for Frog coming in here.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out Long Shots on Indiegogo. He's throwing those links in the comments. Thank you for that.
Frog G's just a hero. Yeah. But, yeah, I always it's not
very good, point.
Yo.
Stallone didn't need to take off his mask.
No,
his
helmet.
Because you could tell it was him by his mouth. Like, it was so obvious. They do the same thing with RDJ. Then helmet is only on when he flies, yeah.
Now, I will tell you on Geek Out, I am so happy that he's kind of done with the Avengers, because now he can do another Sherlock Holmes movie.
Which, oh man, he was so good in that movie.
Sherlock Holmes is one of those most people think it's boring because they haven't read the books. They've just seen the adaptions, and a lot of the physicality of Holmes got totally lost in most adaptions.
Early adaptions were all British.
Yes.
And they usually had an old British actor playing these things, and they couldn't do the physicality. They were good actors.
Yeah, oh, amazing! And I love the Sherlock Holmes movies. Don't ever think I'm bashing it, like the classics. The little black and white one, that series. You know what I can hear the little whistling theme and see the Bobby walking down the street that opened it, because I watched that kind of stuff growing up. I watched a lot of old black and white shows growing up. But Robert Downey Jr. gets the complexity of it and the physicality, and those are some of the best choreographed fight scenes. Yeah. And not just the ones in Holmes' vision, but as somebody who's done a bit of hand-to-hand stuff and a whole lot of short weapon stuff, the brutality, like, he takes hits. You know what I mean? That's one of my things, where these fights where people magically don't take hits. Guess what? If you're sparring, you're going to take damage. And if weapons are involved, you're probably going to take uglier damage. And that just, they're so good, and I'm so ready for more.
Yeah, we're going back to Carl Urban on this one.
Oh,
Carl Urban is a chameleon. He vanishes into every role and he's the only good thing in the Pete's Dragon remake. I have not seen the Pete's Dragon remake, so I'm gonna take your word for it.
Yeah.
We got
Grover, I
more
can't
people
wait.
sharing love in the chats, so let's. We got Sugar Christmas. I think we connect with people more if we can see their face, plus star power. I think that's why the movies do that. You know, I think that's a really good point, Chris. You know, it's really hard to act without being able to show your face. But I'll tell you what, a few people have been able to do that. Darth Vader, it comes to mind.
That's 3 to 4 actors, depending on who you talk
But
to.
you know that scene where the Emperor is, you know, going after Luke, and you got Darth Vader, he does this, and then he pauses, but like you can tell what he's thinking. You immediately know what the guy's thinking. There's no facial expression whatsoever. In fact, I kind of hated it when they took the mask off, to be honest with you. It's but yeah, that role, Chewbacca, you know, can do a whole of the, you know, a whole world of makes sense.
Look at Anthony Daniels, C-3PO. There's a guy who you never saw any physical emotion from, but managed to convey a level of annoyance that is, you know, earth-shattering. To be that annoyed all the time, and to be that annoying.
Yeah. So here's how far behind in the chats that I am right now. This comment was given when we were talking about, you know, how the heroes always stayed in costume all the time. He goes, I have a comic where Doctor Doom takes a shower and goes to bed in full armor. See what we're going to team up. Yeah,
And
that's
that makes sense for Doom. A lot of his armor's permanently attached,
yeah.
depending on the edition. So it's not like he can pull his faceplate off a lot of the times. You know.
Okay. Silvers want to know if that was British or Asian Psylocke. That was Asian Psylocke.
It's just Psylocke.
Yes. Yeah. Nick's like, yeah, that was Asian Psylocke. Yeah. Which is why a lot of my friends, you know, a lot of Gen Xers, you know, were, I think, obsessed with finding themselves an Asian wife. You know, they fell in love with Psylocke and you know, these characters. And but man, Chris Claremont era of X-Men was just, for me, that's when I really got into comic books, man. It was great seeing all that stuff. And you know, Wolverine, although I love Hugh Jackman, don't get me wrong, he's great, but he just never fit my Wolverine. My Wolverine is 5'3", super stocky and very hairy.
They took the frame where he's squaring off against Juggernaut, and he's standing on top of a bar.
Yeah.
You know, I love that. You know the one I'm talking about? They made a like figurine diorama where Juggernaut, who's like 8 feet tall, he's like leaned over menacing, and he's all you know, basically in classic Juggernaut about to do stuff. And Wolvie has jumped up on the bar, popped claws, and is just like the anatomy of the stretchy neck. You know what I'm talking about. It's a little rough, but it's just like, come on, man.
Oh yeah,
right.
In his face.
It's great because he's like this little dude, and the other dude is a Juggernaut dude, and he just doesn't care.
Yeah. Now Hugh Jackman is more akin to the Wolverine I read when it was like the samurai.
Oh,
you know, when he's in
yes.
Asia.
Which is a beautiful Wolverine. That's a really
great story too. I mean, if you can find those old books, man, you should definitely get them.
Oh yeah. Well,
Froggy's like, yes, the steamy Psylocke scene. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was earth shattering.
There are moments that just hit influentially at points. Hey, Johnny.
Sexy comic books. How can society ever recover from that?
Every year, my hope for a Danger Girl movie or series, you know,
Danger
falls
Girl.
a little farther.
Yeah. Sure, I think I have that one too. Wolverine is a great example because they waited like 5 years before they reveal he had a real name. Cyclops says, "You never told us your name was Logan." And he just says, "You never asked." And I like that. And we talked a couple of weeks ago on another show about how they have now given Logan a backstory. And Logan's not even his name. It's like some lame white dude name.
James, I think. Isn't it?
Yeah. And it was like this whole backstory. And I'm
They-
like, you know what, that doesn't exist to me.
The,
Like, I'm
the
like, no, that's
Wolverine
not real.
Origins is the single greatest waste in comic book history, because the one time they could have done a parallel and had it make sense. Sorry, I'm passionate, so my speech impediment is acting up. I before that I saw Wolverine as sort of a Vandal Savage style character.
Yeah.
The reason he was small and feral is he literally is just shy of being a caveman.
Yeah.
And that would make so much more. I mean, that gives you infinite more stories to work with, because there's no reason. Now, I do love Old Man Logan. Old Man Logan and everything about that whole
Yeah, that was
arc
good. That was
really
good.
good.
I like that stuff. But yeah, the whole
but
like
they-
that. Here's the thing: some characters don't need a backstory beyond what we know. I didn't need to know anything about Wolverine before he woke up in the woods.
Yeah.
Like that's all I needed to know about the guy. And so they kind of screwed that up.
Heaven forbid there's a mystery. Heaven forbid, you just don't know.
White naps and Lysol. A little smile out of that one. By the way, I like Luke's elephant picture. Yeah, that's not mine. This is just in the hotel, and I thought that'd be a great backdrop.
It really is.
nice.
I actually commented. I'm like, oh, it's Serengeti.
It's
I dig it.
Serengeti, yeah. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, Brian K. Morris pledged to Long Shots yesterday.
Thank you,
so
Brian.
much. We appreciate that. Before we leave this morning, I am going to bring up that we're going to talk about it briefly,
Well, yeah.
just because I want to show off some of these tiers that Marcus and Anthony came up with. They're absolutely phenomenal. Oh, we've got Statistical Zero in the chats. Hey, good morning, all. Good morning, Zero. Good to have you here today. Great to see you. And Silver said, I backed God's Hand in hybrids already, though, and I'm broke-ish.
It happens.
Man,
Yep.
that sucks. Hopefully you can work out enough to be able to get these other books. Because, man, they are good books, man. Some good stuff in there. Hero About Zero is great. Shield of the Protector. I can't name them all. Oswald. They're all good. I mean, they're all good books, man. They really are really good books. And there we go. Ojo back the other day. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Froggy's popping that in the comments where you can get a hold of it. Then we got Johnny say, Spawn is a cool concept. I just can't with Todd's writing.
And that happens.
Yeah.
That happens.
Todd
Todd
is a great
an amazing artist.
And he's a decent writer.
But he's a very distinct writer. He has his flavor, and if that's not your jam,
I've
when did
ingested so much of these books over the years that I kind of, in my own writing, I'm like, is that good or not? I'm like, yeah,
well,
maybe not.
and here's the other thing: a lot of people will say, "I don't like this," and immediately folks attack them. It might shock you, but it's okay not to like the same things we like or agree with us. If we want civility back in conversation on anything about politics, about comic books, about religion or morality or anything, we have to extend civility. And it's ridiculous that, because in any other of this style comic show, so I'd say, I'm not a big fan of Todd's writing, and there'd be a flame war.
Yeah. That's okay.
It's like,
you can like what you like, don't like what you don't like.
yeah.
Johnny doesn't like his writing. I think it's okay. It's not my favorite, but I like Frank Miller's writing. I usually like Frank Miller's writing. I would say that usually, because I don't think anybody creates all bangers.
No.
Hojo says, my comic shop had a room in the back for the mature readers. Dread, heavy metal, and Vertigo stuff was back there. I was very young. Me and my buddies would just track the owner and sneak in. And here's the thing. The mature books, a lot of people think that they're pornographic. Not all of them are pornographic. Not every comic book fan is all about that. Some of these books were just violent.
Very.
And they were dark and gritty. And those books are cool. That's what I like about those.
I think too many. It's sort of like why I like watching not quite R-rated movies that are scary, because you have to work harder for a lower severity of, you can't just, it's gore. You have to really build the suspense to make something scary, and you really have to work at it with limitations.
Yeah.
And I just approve of that greatly.
Yep.
I know.
Frog G is killing it. He's even throwing in a link to the Banjo Odyssey song. So if you guys want to check that out, feel free. After this is over, of course. But yeah. And Imperium's like South Canada. Yeah.
He's not wrong. That's where Red Green's basically from.
But see, Michael
We
Lanning
love
says,
the
hey,
South.
what are you saying about the
We
South?
just understand it.
Well,
we love the South for what it is. I love the North for what it is. The middle gets me confused sometimes. I'll put it that. Yes, thank you, Frog G. And I this is me being me. Rick Green, the guy who came up with Red Green, has had to stop doing live performances and the TV show for health reasons, basically.
Yeah.
He's really getting up there. But he does have a podcast if you want new Red Green content. And you really should look into that if you are. That's just me plugging somebody who's been really cool my whole life.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh.
This is pretty funny. Silver says, I had a pretty hot first cousin. I avoided her. My brother simped. After she went back to Indiana, I had to explain to them. I have a cousin who, she's very pretty. And one of my nephews was, like, he was in love. And I'm like, dude, that's so many shades of wrong, man. You got to chill out. And he eventually chilled out, but yeah, funny stuff.
I've had some people say that Indiana isn't that southern. It's one of those great discussion points that Indiana's too northern to be southern.
Oh.
Especially I was once on a canoe trip gone wrong down the Tippecanoe River. I shit you not. It was late. We were canoeing in the dark to try to find our way back, and we went by a hunting cabin with the solar powered little paper lanterns in front, and there was a dude sitting on the front porch. And when we went by, lost in the dark in canoes, started playing dueling banjos because he thought it was funny. I will never. I'm 99.9% sure this guy's just messing with people because he knows it happens every so often, but just enough for the gut, just pedal faster,
Yeah, it's yeah.
It's an interesting place,
I think it's funny.
I think Jack Elam was from Indiana.
Oh, Froggy helped us out why Chris's comments aren't being seen by some people. We are actually broadcasting to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different locations this morning. We are on 4 different Facebook pages, 2 different YouTube channels, and 2 different Twitter accounts. So we will eventually remove the Facebook accounts and only go to Twitter and then YouTube, and then eventually just to the 2 YouTube accounts. So we are on the Raging 2 network as well as Luke Stone Studios YouTube channel. So that helps that out a little bit. And Hojo helped me out. The Robin Ginger argument is Carrie Kelly. So that's what that's going on there. Yeah, so thank you for that. And then we've got
excellent
No Nerd
point.
Bacon,
Sorry, it took
Muttman.
a second for that thing.
Muttman is in the chat. Muttman actually won the comics a couple weeks ago.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, he won the 5 issues, and then Danny Morales won the single issue. which he will be getting when I drive over and drop off the books. So I'm not going to ship them to him because we're so close. Frog G says, I need to talk to my artist, make sure I have a ginger in the book. Yeah, fill this. Let's show some ginger love and make sure that we put some. I said show some ginger love, and my wife and daughter, both looked over at me like, what the heck are you talking about? We need to make sure that gingers are feeling appreciated. Put gingers in your comic book if you're making a comic book. Make sure there's at least one ginger character in there. My daughter's like, no. They're soulless gingers. She goes, they're soulless gingers. Yeah, that's
they can
pretty
be
funny.
villains. Villains are okay. Maybe it's villains that won't be erased.
Silver says he grew up with Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald.
Yes, Molly Ringwald in the 80s was a lot of guys' crushes. Yeah, she was a hot ticket for a long time. And Emilio Estevez, was a hot ticket there for a while.
Allison Hannigan was a problem for me in my youth. I will admit this freely.
Yeah.
You know?
And he clarifies in film, not in person. That'd be great if you were in person. Hollywood hates gingers because Lucille Ball took all the ginger mojo onto herself. There's no more mojo left among them. Hashtag facts. Thank you, Brian. Yes. Lucille Ball was great. My daughter does love Lucy, but only Lucy in black and white. As soon as Lucy is in color and that ginger hair pops up, she hates her. There's nothing to say. They're packing up.
Luke
They're
really
getting ready
does
to
believe
go.
he's
Our
untouchable.
checkout time here is at noon, and so they're trying to get ready while I'm doing the show. Like a good husband, I'm just sitting here while the women work, doing nothing, like a big old lump on the log. I think.
Or you could look like, no, you are promoting your stuff. You are doing work to help bring in extra money.
Am I?
Well,
Am I really doing work right now? I don't know. Maybe
I'm
this is
trying.
Yeah, you
I'm
can
reaching
try.
a hand
Anyway,
out to you,
so-
Luke.
So I'm in the land of the mouse down here. Makes me think about one of my favorite rides, which is the Carousel of Progress. And on that, the narrator, he's like the worst dude. Like all he does while his wife is working all the time is sitting at the table talking to the people with his dog, sipping on tea or lemonade. And I kind of feel like that guy right now. Too bad there's not a Uncle Herschel in the back. No privacy at all around this place. Yeah. So Sylv also says, but Lucy was a natural blonde. She dyed it red to catch Desi.
Bum, bum,
I was today years old when I found that out.
I would have liked more of a blonde.
What? So Desi had a thing for redheads, huh?
So, it's the same thing with Marilyn. She used to be a brunette and then she died.
Yeah, Marilyn was a brunette. I think we all knew that.
Norma. Oh, Norma Jean.
Yes, I do. Okay. Thank you, Brian, for helping me out with that. Moxie Lanning says they need to build up on characters like Martian Manhunter. Awesome. Static, yes. Lobo, yes.
Oh
It's
my!
time to
Could you
invest
imagine
in
a
more
Lobo
characters.
movie?
Booster Gold is a fan favorite. Yes, Booster Gold.
Well, okay. I will always be very much into the different animated series. I watched a lot of them. You could basically go through Justice League Unlimited and go, hey, he was awesome in an episode. She was awesome. Let's get more Anna going. Yeah.
Imperium loves Booster Gold. Yeah, I'm getting caught up. So like we're kind of getting into the. And the only problem with Lucy's plan, Silver, was that it worked. Brian K. Morris once again. I got to see the Lucille Ball Museum a couple of years ago. Awesome experience. That does seem like it'd be fun.
I'm the guy who would geek out about something like that.
I think side down. Nick knows why. Empyrean. Imagine what they could do with all that, with that fandom. Yeah, they could do so much. And then we got, let me see,
But that requires creative writers. And they don't know how to expand on their own stuff. Let alone create new.
Oh, actually, I'm not caught up. I'm to the part where you froze.
Yeah. I've been...
Yeah. Freeze frame or freeze on Nick, yep.
Yeah,
Being invaded by Russia.
Vladdy Daddy tried to cancel me for telling the truth again. Anyway.
Yeah. No one clipped that frozen Nick face? That would be inappropriate. It would be. Thank you. Yeah, those are pretty funny stuff.
I can see that in my future. I can.
Yeah.
I
You
just.
come in there.
I know my friends too well, very, very too well.
Thank you, Brian, for pointing that out. Behind in comments, Kind of Loser runs a show where they're perpetually behind in reading comments. I don't know. I take after my mentor, Brian K. Morris.
Yeah, Luke, let me take care of your light work here. So, Brian, you're telling me I need to get up early Friday morning, huh? You know, okay.
Hoja says he does the best with what he can, with what he's given. Just look at, yeah.
I haven't seen that one, but
I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it wasn't amazing.
I think they should have stopped with the first Matrix, to be honest.
Yeah, the Ron Swanson burger episode. So there's this episode, Nick, I don't know if you've seen it, where they're trying to take hamburgers out of the commissary, out of the food court. So they want to replace it. Traeger wants to replace it with a turkey burger, and Ron said, and so they decided to have a cook-off, and Traeger does this elaborate turkey burger thing, right? And Ron Swanson just makes that beef hamburger. Puts it on a bun. Here's ketchup. Use it if you want, or you don't. I don't care. And it was clearly better. It was superior because you can't beat the cow. You just can't. Yeah. So the rat burger, that
Demolition Man,
another
undervalued, light years ahead of its time. Talking about censorship, talking about loss of personality, over-reliance on tech. Demolition Man if you haven't watched it recently because you're like, it's a dumb movie, watch it from the lens of having been through 2020. Yep. I'm serious. Sit down, watch
Wesley Snipes is a genius in it. He's good. I mean, it was just a good movie. Very good. Yeah. He brings up Demolition Man.
And I love Sandra Bullock. I mean, I just do.
Oh, so Hojo says it's only because they have small children. That makes sense. If you lost a lock safe battle with the wife, that's fine. Got to pick your battles. You absolutely do. If your spouse is not comfortable with guns in the house, don't bring guns in the house. Okay?
Right.
I will never tell you to do something or advocate for you to do something that your spouse is not comfortable with.
If you can't do it safely, don't do it. That's part of gun safety.
I didn't own an AR-15 until after Beth had shot guns and was more comfortable with me having one in the house. And then the ammo and the gun were never in the same place. Never in the same place. Because I didn't need that for home defense. That's not going to do any good. Those rounds would go through the walls.
Right.
I don't want that. So yeah, I totally agree with you. And, yeah, do what's right with your family.
Yeah. And I see, that's what I love when people talk reasonably about these sorts of things. We can have that level of nuanced conversation.
Hojo, I feel a great deal of pity for anyone going to that house looking for trouble. X-Men 2 quote. Love it.
Yes.
Zero says, if you have nothing else for home defense, a frying pan and a high-intensity flashlight will do in a pinch. Blind and bludgeon. You know what? It will. And here's the thing. Anything with the right person and enough tenacity, if you come into their home, it's going to... Now, I do have a friend named Foster who was a victim of a home invasion. And he had a bullet. He was shot at. Their gun did jam, but he was able to get his gun and take out the bad guy. And so it was a dire situation that he almost did not make it out of alive. But thankfully he did. The bad guy did not. The bad guy did not, but he did.
So if you're going to have it, train it.
Yeah.
If not,
exactly.
do something. If you're not going to train it, if you're going to buy a gun and put it in a drawer, I'll say this. It's fine as a collector, but don't expect to rely on it to have some other idea.
Exactly. Nita says, good morning, guys. And then she throws that in there. Good morning.
Morning,
Froggy
Nita.
Says,
Hope
I'm not going to do
well,
all the hails because I'm so far behind. So let's kind of get into this. Problem is that the right to bear arms is not defended for all people in the same manner. One of the reasons why government pushed gun control on citizens and not hold owners accountable. Just saying. Yeah, well, we're not going to get into that this morning. That's political discussion, cause a little thing. What we want to do is we want to stay positive with this. And we're allowed to think differently on that subject.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay.
That's your opinion, Joe.
Yeah, we'll be able to have those conversations later.
I've been looking forward to this one as a sword guy. Basil Rathbone played Sherlock Holmes. He could have handled him much more athletic. He was an Olympic-grade swordsman and fencer. And what got me is people talk about Errol Flynn, the old Robin Hood. He was always the good guy. Basil Rathbone. See, Captain Nick's speak is on.
Yeah.
Was always the bad guy, but watching it, you could tell he had to make his whole job was make Errol Flynn look good, and that's the that's how it's like it was. You had the tools and you didn't do it. So
yes.
I like this, Michael Lanning. I like this.
Yeah, that's kind of Batman. I think in that same vein, it would be great to see Batman like that. I totally agree.
The Batman I need to see. I need this.
Hojo loves Urban and Red.
I need to see Michael Keaton as Old Man Bruce, Batman Beyond style. Please, before something happens to that actor, have him play Old Man Bruce in a Batman Beyond movie. I will go watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe has some. He'd love to have a 22 caliber rifle in his house. And he's got some reasons for that. And I totally get that. Yes, please. We totally understand that. And yeah, there's different things, and man, this world's complicated.
Questions, do the research. That's the best advice on that.
Okay.
If you ever have legal doubt, you may have to do some digging, Joe, or you talk to a librarian who can help you. This is why librarians are important.
Yeah, I do. I love Joe, and I get it. This world is complicated, man.
Yeah,
it's a very complicated place. So let's talk about comics. The good kind. Support Long Shots.
Yeah.
R2-D2 was the most vulgar character I've seen. All of his lines are bleeped out. Thank you, Frog G. I love that one. Good things, too. I heard Betty White wrote R2's lines. Yes, Betty White, I'll tell you what. She is not the Rose character. She's actually more like the Blanche character.
Watch Lake Placid. Betty White, Lake Placid, greatest performance ever, right there.
So, C. Michael Lanning says they gave Wolverine a background because 20th Century Fox threatened to give him one. So they rushed to make it happen. It wasn't a good one. They should have let 20th Century Fox have it, hack at it, because what they came up with was garbage. James Howlett, that's it. Is not my Wolverine. Not even close. My Weapon X series will always be my Wolverine. I'm with you on that one. I feel like one of those not my president guys when I talk about Wolverine is James Howlett. Not my Wolverine. Not my president. Wolverine as Vandal Savage. I like that.
Imagine him just suddenly remembering everything and a dramatic character shift.
Yeah. Hojo thinks that Three of the Jokers was lame. I kind of liked it. Again, we don't have to agree on everything.
Yeah. Isn't that cool, guys?
Yeah.
Seriously.
But hey, we both love comics, right? We can both agree Joker's a kick-butt villain that I wouldn't want to go up against ever.
Hey, I appreciate the courtesy ogre. I really do. Luke appreciates it because he only has so much time.
Yeah, Silver's like, I'm trying not to respond. Yeah,
I tried not.
I'm almost caught up because it's finally saying there's no new comments. Whoa! When did this become the Alabama stream? Ooh, talking about that. Yeah, Indiana is where Rev Payton is from. Rev Payton is yeah. Yeah, it's a great band. I don't think so.
That's what, guys. You gotta hit me up on a given Friday. This is, I believe, an absolute derailment. Let's just keep pinging around.
Empyrean says Raging 2 Network is where it's at, and yes, it is. And Nick, we're doing this on Raging 2. we're part of this network to honor our dear friend, Meredith
Meredith
Longman.
Longman.
This was her dream. This was her dream to do this. And Nita has picked up that torch and is burning it brightly.
Nita
for
is a
her best
powerhouse.
friend.
I
She
mean,
really is. And I'm telling you what, this is great to be a part of it. And as the network grows, I just can't wait. Can't wait to see what happens and to be a part of it. And,
it's so funny because, like, you and Nita talked about the show, and I get a message, hey, Nick, want to co-host the show? Sure. And I'm like, I actually said sure. Asked my wife, I wonder if I, just agreed to co-host an episode or a series. Ping, ping, series. Okay, cool. That's the depth of my prep.
yeah. And here we are, Nerd Bacon. Nerd Bacon, the best darn morning show that's ever been for comic books on Thursday mornings, hosted from Indiana and Florida.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give as many qualifiers to make that statement true.
Hey, you know what? We're trying. That's the only qualifier that matters.
Oh,
If somebody does it better, good on them. But
Empyrean is currently in talks with the network to replace all of Frog G's gingers, and Frog G is sad about that. He says, now I feel bad. Rescinded. Okay. Luke dodged the COVID bullet, only to lose his life by mouthing off to his women folk. Yep.
friends, we are gathered here today to remember Luke Stone.
Yeah. Help Luke look like he's working. Sign up for Hybrids, The Killing Fields, Part 1 through 3. Thank you, Frog G. I need all the help I can get to look like I'm worth a darn these days. And then we got so bummed they canceled the Lobo series. Me too. The Krypton version was awesomeness. Man, Lobo is one of my favorite characters. Uploading frozen Nick face memes now. Here we go. Oh no. LMAO, Nick, get a new mission on this Friday.
Yeah.
And then we got LOL, Nick, one morning I'm going to leave you the show. I know.
Hey,
Superior
don't you
talent when
threaten
I
me
see
with a
it.
good time, big boy.
Yeah. Matrix sequels are best considered music videos. Yeah, there's a lot of music.
That's really
going on.
deep. That's deep. Thank you. Well, yeah.
I think Razzle Bathbone is my new internet handle. That should be. Razzle Bathbone is a fun word. That's fun to say. My mom and older brother are Hoosiers. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with Hoosiers. I got Hoosier blood running through my veins, and I am proud to be a Hoosier. And Frog G says there is the Meredith Bewley Logren Memorial on GoFundMe. They still have plenty of things to take care of and pay for. Please feel free. I beg you. If you're not going to buy the long shots, if you're not going to buy, if you're not going to be able to buy comics, and we know what we think about buying comics, right?
I'm gonna go out and buy some more.
Okay.
And I think you should too.
But if you're not going to, I want you to go over there, and if you can't, please give to that GoFundMe for her family. Please do that. I beg you. Be a part of that and helping out. Hojo says, I only said that about the Joker. I don't even know what that's supposed to be, but I don't think he.
I think
should
that's
have
supposed
an
to be
origin
because
story.
I don't
Because
think
he shouldn't have an origin story yet. Yeah, that's why he works multiple choice. Yeah,
I will
do
say,
like that.
I saw one sort of what if someone did. I honestly don't know if it's DC canon or not. But it was set the distant future. Bruce Wayne gets a time machine, as Batman, and goes back to try to stop his parents from being killed.
Yeah.
It screws up the timeline, has to go back and stop himself, and watch it again as an adult, knowing he essentially recaused it.
Yeah.
And then went insane and fell in the freezing river, and he was fished out, pale white, his mind broken, only knowing that there's some cosmic punchline out there, and that's the actual origin of the Joker. That was the best version I've ever seen.
Yes.
Because it was so, like, I read that the first time and I had to stop.
There's a sweet poetry to it, isn't there?
Yes.
And Brian K. Moore says they'll find Luke's clothes all over Disney World. And he'll still be in most of them. That's what you get for mouthing off the ladies.
I was gonna say Jessica Rabbit is a Disney property. Anyway.
And Hoja says, "I can't type today. I promise. I graduated high school." That makes one of us. No,
I graduated
high
college,
school.
and I can't type nor speak in a straight line.
Jody says, "Please support the memorial for Meredith." Yes, please, please, please. Imperium says, "The way Joker got that smile is he had one of those freeze pops, and he cut the top off like you do, and it just sharp at the edges, and just sliced it. Yeah, that's what happened." And
my Joker had paint over his mustache. Yeah. Okay, that
I did not
Cesar
like that
Romero.
But that was the best we had, and I loved it anyway.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we have gone an hour and 35 minutes, and I need to start wrapping this up. Before I do, I've got to tell you guys about the Long Shots because it is live and it is funding. I'm going to play a video and I'm going to go over a couple of the tiers because they're funny, okay? And you guys need to see these. Okay. Yes, printed and ready to go. We've got several books, and they are great. These are great books, and they are for your enjoyment. All right, I'm going to try to zoom in as best I can here. So you got this. Our featured tier is the Big Blind. So all of these are, here I'm going to try to make that big. So we're off the screen. No, they can still hear us, Nick. So we're just going to talk over this.
I'll be just a second. I got parental trips.
That's fine. So the Big Blind is the first. Is our featured tier, and it features a bunch of stuff. The bundle, a metal print, custom Long Shots playing cards, paper print, bookmark bundle, sketch cards, and metal trading cards. So yeah, I mean this is great. There's a lot of things there. That is the $100 buy-in. We love it that people have bought onto that. But here is the deal of the century. It's the bundle. It's all 9 books. They're printed. They're ready to ship. They will we'll be sending those out. I mean, you can't beat it. It's $25, and it's your basic buy-in. The double down is $50. You get the bundle, 2 metal bookmarks, metal print, and custom Long Shots playing cards. So that's going to be really cool for $50. Then we've got the Let It Ride. Let It Ride. This perk includes the Premier Books bundle which includes all 9 titles signed by the creators and all 9 bookmarks. 1 medium metal print, 2 metal trading cards, 1 11x17 paper print, 3 sketch cards, 1 custom metal Long Shots playing card, and a 9x12 original piece of artwork. Can't beat that. But that one right there is $500. And then we move into the big boys, the bad boys here. We got Sell the Boat. So this perk includes the limited edition 250-page omnibus. So we're taking this and creating an omnibus special printed book. Will only be available at this level. Okay, so that includes 250-page omnibus signed and numbered premium book bundle. So you also get the individual books, 1 large metal print, 2 metal trading cards, 1 11x17 paper print, 6 sketch cards, 1 Long Shots playing card combo pack, which includes 5 custom playing cards and 3 metal playing cards, an 11x17 original piece of artwork, and a Long Shots playing bag. So that's got a lot there for $1,000. Then we've got the Bet the Kids College Fund for $2,500. Only one available. Includes the limited edition 250-page hardcover omnibus, signed and numbered, 2 Premier bookmark bundles, 2 large metal prints, 4 metal trading cards, 2 11x17 paper prints, 9 sketch cards, 2 Long Shots playing cards combo packs, original artwork for omnibus cover, a custom t-shirt and hat combo, and the Long Shots playing bag, all shipped in a custom box set. And my favorite is
Yes!
the Spencer's exclusive executive experience. For $10,000, you will get 1 rental car, economy, a 3-day luxury motel, bug spray and dewormer provided, 1 voucher for an Italian lunch, a guided tour of the Spencer's corporate office's parking lot with the promise of going inside that will never materialize, 1 voucher for a sawhorse ride at the Texas Roadhouse down the street, and finally, a tour of a comic book store basement. And that includes the Egg Harbor Deluxe package for just a measly $10,000. That is what you get. And I guarantee that if you decide that you want to do that, all of those things will happen. All of those things will happen. We're sitting at 35 backers right now, 28 days left to go, $1,650 raised so far. And thank you. We have a long way to go to make up our total. Let me guess. Each book was $3,000. About $2,000 to print. There's 9 books. So yeah, there's a lot of money involved there. You know, $18,000 that we have to try to recover. So I do appreciate anyone for backing that. And if you can't back it, I do ask that if you could please share it out and encourage other people to get on board with it. I really would appreciate that. Got some comments here. Everyone loves Heath Ledger's Joker, despite that he did nothing Joker-like. True, it was a one-of-a-kind Joker, and I loved it. It still is my favorite. Josie says, Luke is getting stares since he has people waiting to get ride Space Mountain. Not the one Ric Flair talks about. Okay. I get that one. And then we got some laughs, probably from that $10,000 tier. Oh, I don't forget. He goes, oh, don't forget to remind those who sign up for the mailing list for the campaign still get their poker chips. That is right, Joe. Thank you. They do still get their poker chips. So if you signed up for the mailing list before the campaign, if you signed up, go ahead and back it. We had like 150 people sign up. We've only had 35 people back the project so far. So go ahead and make sure that you are backing the project, and on top of whatever you get, you will also get your special poker chip. So it is well worth it. And Nita says, if someone buys the 10K grift trip, I'm flying out to Jersey, and Lage and I will interview the buyer and give them frivolous job assignments. Yes.
Wow, just sweetening the deal, folks.
Boy, and she's not.
I know someone on here is.
Someone's not salty at all, right?
Tax season is upon us. Somebody's getting 10K.
Yeah. So, but that is the Long Shots deal. No fudge, just cream, and you can tell that it's a good deal. And we're throwing a lot of stuff in there for people that want to jump up past the other tiers. But thanks everyone for being so active in the chats today. I appreciate it. I've been your host, one of your hosts, Luke Stone, live from Orlando, hanging out down here. And it is about time for me to check out of this beast. So I'm going to have to get out of here. Nick, can you tell everybody where they can find you?
All right, folks, I can be found here, obviously, every Thursday morning at 9 o'clock our time. I can be found on Friday nights at the Historical Fencing Guild at 8 p.m. Eastern, where I talk about swords and how to learn how to sword fight. We talk about movies and gear, and just what you see is what you get, folks. I have several books published through Amazon. I don't have the money to do the nifty direct print stuff Luke does. So, guys, follow us. Follow Luke. You can follow me on Twitter @ntalker. There's so much coming that I don't have time to talk about that's going to be glorious. Thank you for the links, Frog G. I also have an art channel where I do art and stop motion, a few other things. That's Nicholas Talkert on YouTube. Real easy to find. A new website is coming. I'm this close to some big reveals. So stay tuned, folks.
Can't wait for that. Yeah, and you can find me at LukeStoneStudios.com. Again, that's LukeStoneStudios with an S on the end.com. All of my links are there. You can sign up for the mailing list for Hybrids, The Killing Field Parts 1 through 3. That will be going live at the end of this month. And you can also still get, I still have the other campaign in demand from issues 1 and 2 of that. So yeah, do just check that out. And thanks for everybody for telling us we did a good job today. I always like to hear that I did a good job.
More is coming, guys.
Yes, more is coming.
More is coming.
Have updates on that game very, very soon. So looking forward to that. And thank you again, Frog G, for popping all those links in the chat. We totally appreciate it. And without any further ado, we are going to say goodbye.
Yay! Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
Emotional damage.
Which is what we inflict.
I love it.